coming. Hopefully he has a video for me shortly too. There's Jason. It's not, it wasn't, can anyone hear us? Yes, it's awesome, man. I was going to say thank you during the stream, too. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Everyone is good out there tonight. Getting started here. Messed up. I just put them all in there. So, let's see.
It was a while since I've read this, so I'm kind of, yeah. This is kind of cool, and it has the only map of crossings that we have. Crossings.
Here comes Mike.
Okay, perfect.
What's up, Mike?
Hey.
I just started. I had a feeling that Blue Box was going to start early tonight, so I just started a hair early. We just got preludes on. Hopefully everyone's doing well tonight. I never made the banner for next week. Oh, well. We do have a topic already for next week, Mike. I came up with a good one.
All right.
Well, yeah, you might want to switch them over, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
My topics, Mike. There.
It was a good one, though. It was good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. Tomorrow night, if you can, hopefully you can hear me. Hey, Mike, there's a joint. Well, we have 3 giveaways. We have Mike Disney and we have Gamescape. Okay, so the Gamescape is this tower setup, and I'm going to show you. It is a 60 right now. This STL's for it is $60. Hey, Megan. Wow, the whole Mike Disney clan's here, man. That is awesome. So that is along with 2 Mike Disney giveaways tomorrow night. Awesome.
So,
fantastic.
Absolutely. So we're gonna give away, and I'll show all that. Oh, thanks, Megan. Thank you. Let's see here. I'm hitting wrong buttons again. Don't crash things. So we're doing. We're gonna do a Mike Scarn, painted Scarn, an overgrowth print, and then it's an STL normally, and I hate having it so, and I've done this a lot of times, it was just people with STL sign up, so I made it, this way it works out, so it's both. So, yeah, but the STL is like awesome, I'll show that. In fact, let me do something smart here. Copy these into the right folder, so I'm not searching for these everywhere. Good. Yeah. So we got some more cool stuff coming from the 3D print companies. So that's good. But hopefully everyone's well out there. It doesn't feel like Wednesday. I mean, it must be me. It feels like it's to me, it feels like a Thursday night. And I don't know why, but it feels like Thursday. It's just me being weird. Those out of this, Bill is now printing on his those rivers. Those rivers you see right there, Bill's printing up. So we'll have Infinite Dimensions, along with all the other stuff I have him doing. But he's on vacation now, so he's away. So we have all that going. Plus we have the arena. It's just that's for Virtual Outcon. That's for the Grand Wheelie. We'll get to it, just like everything else. It's a matter of time. Only so many hours in a day, So now am I gonna hit the right button here? I know, man. It just feels like it. I don't know what it is. Tonight, it feels like it's Thursday. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. I know it's not. It's so 3 streams in 3 nights, everyone. Tonight, tomorrow night, and I've had some technical difficulties with tomorrow night, where it looks like, we will finish Adventure 914. I thought I was going to be short players, but I had to push the time back to 8 from 7:30. Because I'm gonna, I got so many guys away on vacation and stuff, and then new shows Friday night. Right, Anna? Once a month, though, it'll be a great new show. Hey, what's up, Fort Mind Morph? What are you guys doing? Here comes Blue Box. Look at that timing. John, thanks. As usual, man. Thank you so very much. Where the heck there you go? All right, let me go to the main screen here so we see what your topic is tonight as all these new raiders come in. Thank you all. We're early, but that's okay. Oh wow. Cities in Greyhawk of Greyhawk. Gonna be a real fun one. Son just came into the room and started messing on the other PC. I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
You told him yesterday that he could do it today.
Yeah. So we're gonna discuss Mike, as all the cities that we know of that are like at least have something published for them, but we are really light on number one thing, and that is detailed maps for most of for most of Greyhawk, and that is what we're going to chat about. Thanks, Patrick, for that gift sub, and oh, and there goes a cheer from Steve. Awesome. I know we're early. Yeah, you love all the maps, but they're just not enough, and I think I'm gonna point out some great. We all are some great people who are making contributions with maps. Also, talk about what we know about detail-wise in the cities. Greyhawk, get a nice education on that. Hopefully. How do you like that? Oh, you like that? That's Aaron Frokie. So I can help out with that. Got a bunch of them coming. All right, coming into the main screen here, a little early. Yo, great Drake, what's up? Good evening, everyone. I'm JK, Lord Gazumba. Thank you for the raid, Blue Box, John. That was a great discussion you had too. Really appreciate it. And with me, as always, is the great Anna Meyer and the fantastic Greyhawk Mike Bridges. And we have an interesting discussion tonight for everyone. And tonight our topic is going to be cities of Greyhawk. This is so Greyhawk's great because you can make it your own, but you really need to make it your own when it comes to city development for the most part, right?
Well, it depends. When it comes to detailing the cities, yes, to a large degree you have to, which is, I guess, both good and bad.
Yeah, I'll say. It's a great. Thank you all. We got another hype train running already.
Wow, already.
Thank you so very much. So tonight, before we get cranking, Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer, of course, is on his do-gooders again and sent this, and this is going to be a really great giveaway tonight. At least we'll do this at least, and that is a copy of the 1980 folio in reprint. Okay.
What?
Yes.
That is a reprint.
Yes.
That is the best reprint I've seen ever.
Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Josh? So there you go.
Rich.
Well, thank you. That is really nice.
You.
High praise, AZ11. Thank you so very much for that. We got a community of a lot of great streamers, and we just came. The raid came in from Blue Box, and John is just as good. Please, we all do. We all try our best. Yes. So yes, mine's not in bad shape. I'm gonna slide out. Hopefully, I don't unplug my headset. Here's mine. So yeah, the original. But and we may give out a little bit more beyond this, but look, so let me set that up. And let's have, and there's, look at that. Mine's where it's getting used though, Rich. That's a great thing. And then I'm going to say something, a thank you to someone in the audience. So Mike, cities, what comes to mind, man?
Well, first, Rich, I've never used mine. I bought mine in that condition. So, never used it.
That's very cool.
Cities, what comes to mind?
Yeah.
What comes to mind is that cartography in published Greyhawk has improved over the years.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully.
Great point.
And that might be a technology thing, or it might just be a printing needs thing.
I guess it's a production. They put more money into production later years, and also that technology evolved, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's true, because as you can see, these Norwell, Safeton, and all the maps from Fata Vistas are like the same. They're just like someone did them, right? But they really
needed a map, so they made a map, but not barely more than that. So yeah.
All right, so 2 quick announcements. First thing, tomorrow night, and I said this pre-stream, it's a big giveaway night. We'll finish our Norwell Headhunter, the plot adventure tomorrow night. We're starting 30 minutes late tomorrow night because I got all these people away on vacation, and then Walt will be late. So we're starting at 8, not 7:30. Okay, just note that. If you come on in, I'll have something. Reaper will have the host up, but it's great giveaways tomorrow night. 2 Mike Disneys and 1 fantastic. This is Gamescape 3D. That print, that STL, he's still selling for $60, and it's like 4 gigs of files. I'm gonna have to get it to you in multiple downloads off of my Dropbox. So that is the main STL giveaway tomorrow night. I don't even know how long it'll take you to print all that, but that is it. Plus the great Overgored print by Mike Disney and a painted Scarn by Mike Disney tomorrow night. So we got a lot of really cool things going on. Now, second quick announcement. You've probably seen my posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but the generosity of the Greyhawk community has been here. Thank you so very much, Jason Zavoda. He gave me the entire collection of Gourd books. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was very, very kind of you to send these. I can't wait to start really reading these. And Eric Mona was digging into me on Facebook saying, how the hell haven't you been able to read these yet? And so I said, well, now I have them, and now I'm going to start reading them right away. And that was so kind of you, Jason. Thank you.
Only read 1.
I can't wait. I can't wait because the first 2 books, especially, because I really want. Jason, you're absolutely correct. I'm reading them because I want to know all I can about Strandkeep Castle because I'm going to tie that into what's going on in my campaign.
Well, then you only need to read, I think, the second book first chapter. That's it.
Absolutely. So
the first 5 pages, and then
I thought it was in the second book.
Yeah, second book, first chapter. I think the second book starts with it. It's 10 years since I read them, so I think it's the second book very first chapter or first 5 pages or something like that. Then it's done. Yeah,
I don't know if we're going into ship repair facilities, Big Mac. I don't know if that was the point of this discussion tonight, but that's really funny. That's awesome.
That's awesome, David.
So note, 3 streams in 3 nights, 4 streams in 5 nights. The only night I'll be off is Friday, and we got some great stuff coming up. Hang in, please participate. Thank you, Blue Box, for coming in. Everyone there, we got a lot of great stuff coming up on the channel and throughout the community. So, cities. When you think of Greyhawk right away, even Greyhawk, there's contention. Huge bones of contention with Greyhawk. And Jason's in chat, and if I brought Jason on, we'd be fighting about that for the entire show. So, right? So you have the Gourd novel book, and thank you so very much for the hype train, everyone. Really appreciate that. You have the Gourd novel book map of Greyhawk, which is this one, right? And then you have.
Well, that's not from the book. That's a recreation.
That's a creation off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Based on the Gary's.
Then you have the Free City of Greyhawk box set city. Mm-hmm. And then you have. Wow, people are coming in like crazy. Then you have the Malden version of that.
Yeah, so, those are just they're the same city concept. It's just Malden made, in my opinion, a slightly better map, or significantly better map of the TSR box set version of the city.
More informed.
Yeah, you should now. When you have the Gourd books, you should show the Gourd map from the Gourd books because it is kind of cool. It's very, very primitive as a map.
Is it in this book? Is it in number 1?
It's in this old Saga of, not Saga of Old City. It is in the City of Hawks.
All right. I have the book right here. Imagine that. Now I can actually do that.
Yeah.
Right in the front. Do you know where?
City of Hawks. Yeah. One of the first pages. It's there.
Oh man, it kind of looks like that other one. I don't want to bend it too much. There you go.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's kind of cool. I'm a proponent of that. I love that city design way better than the TSR design. But on the other hand, I love the content of the box set.
Oh my gosh, my
for
favorite.
for my campaign, what I will do is I will take the content of the box set and place that in that city model
Right.
that Gary made for the Gord novels, because yeah, like that city looks to me more like it's placed in the terrain. It has the right size and a ton more possibilities, so to speak, in it.
Well, you know my thought. I want Malden's map, but I want an original, and I know it was in Living Grail Gazetteer, and
Mhm.
I can't get it. So Jason fulfilled one of my wishes. I have one more wish, and that's to get that original map. If I
Cool.
get that
Yeah.
original map, I'll start using it. But
I
now, for
have it
me,
somewhere.
no, I'm not asking for your copy, Anna.
No. I just wanted to hold up so people can see it, because it's like one of these 20 something. Yeah.
Scale of Gary's
Can't
map,
find
3
mine.
miles per inch. I don't know what the scale of Gary's map is. 3 miles per.
It's much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way bigger. The city is like 6 miles or 9 miles across or something like that.
Do the
So it's
districts
like,
and streets mentioned in the Gordon novels fit into the TSR maps? Mac, I don't know 100% because that's why
hang on a
I haven't
second.
read them yet.
I doubt it.
Doubtful.
Well, it has more districts. The Gary version from
Yeah.
the Gord books have more districts than the TSR version. The TSR version is definitely, they're based on the same idea. So Gary had that idea and someone wrote it down, then someone in TSR had it. So a lot of the same ones are there.
1
but
inch is 3 miles according to City Hawks from Cathay. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which now I need to get the book so I can see how many miles that
6
roughly.
by 9 miles. All right, well, that's good to know.
6 by 9 miles.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no way
Mhm.
that the Free City Graph box set map is 6 by 9 miles. I don't think.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
it's
no,
smaller
no.
than that.
Yeah,
It's
but
probably
it's
half
supposed.
that size.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like a dense city with a fair bit of what is it, like 75, 80,000 inhabitants, and that's supposed to be male
Yes.
of weapon wielding
Out of the book,
capability.
the page size out of the book.
Yeah. So I simply assume a city of a quarter, 500,000 people or something like that.
See, that's where it's all over the place, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you just have to
yeah.
come up with what works for your campaign, so to speak.
And here's the point I'm trying to get at, and we've done Greyhawk. We've done a lot of Greyhawk shows, city shows. In particular, our pre-Legends of Lore and the Lord Gazumba channel crossover event was Greyhawk. Remember Greyhawk City that we did?
Yeah.
So,
but there's so many other iconic
Right.
cities that I think we instead so we should not nerd into the city of Greyhawk.
They're even worsely documented and written up and mapped, and that's the point of tonight. Is let's go over what we have. And then what
a little bit
need.
what we don't have. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
What we need. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the other maps is the reason why the city of Greyhawk gets so much play.
I'm sorry, what's that, Mike? Why do you think so?
It said the other city maps is why the city of Greyhawk gets so much play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it is the kind of the heart of the setting, so to speak. It's
it
like
is.
New York is the world capital, and Greyhawk is the Flanese capital, not in legal terms or in formality, but in reality, so to speak. It's kind of the setting. It has a central position. It's cosmopolitan. It's kind of So in that way, in significance, it's very much the center of the setting.
Rich, you're absolutely correct that the city, the population numbers are all over the place as you go into later editions, because
they
went from fantasy to more realistic later as you go. I don't have
they increase. Yeah, exactly. They increase, and they also, in the beginning, I think it's more like how many soldiers they can produce, so to speak. So it's more like how many people, like grown-ups, they can wield weapons and stuff, and they don't count women, children, elderly, infirm, and other witless, whatever. Some sort of description I read somewhere that is a lot of exclusions in that number, and then it goes on. It's more like the whole body and count, so to speak. So I'm kind of I want to boost the numbers significant for some areas to make it more fun. So you should definitely look into it and see what works for your campaign, what kind of vision you want to have for the cities.
Yeah. Now, if I'm playing in my own campaign, and my guys, are not minutia guys at all, this is all I need for my campaign, right? Because all the details are there out of out of your fantastic books. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So in a fantasy, if you're playing in a fantasy setting, as I sure said multiple times, mine's a hero-based fantasy setting, and I'm fine with that, right?
Yeah.
But if you're more gritty, detail-oriented, then it's not enough, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
For one reason I want to have way more detail is not for my players, it's for me as a DM. I need it to be inspired, meaning if my players walk into an inn and they do something and there is a bar fight and then they have to flee and they run down the street, I want to be inspired to be able to look at the map and figure out what's there, so to speak, and to be inspired to see like a cool house with a little turret on it. And so I can drum up, so I can be inspired to present the world for my players. That's the main reason I need really cool maps, in order to facilitate that description to my players, and always have the cool details for them to give them, so to speak.
It's a great point, Anna, and
something we need to dig into on Fridays.
Yes,
once a month.
Yes, which we will be. And so it's up now. That is my map for Altamira. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, I'm not counting what's on my table, right?
I was going to say, because that is another super visual aid that is in a map, in a way functions as a map, because you have the table, because that is not something you show the players. That's just an idea for you to put on the table, so to speak.
True. Yeah. So, and I make sure I get a lot of detailed pictures. What was that, Mike? You're shaking your head. You're like, what?
No, I was trying to make sense of it. It was a little bleached out. Was that a Venn diagram or a pie chart?
Kind of, I guess, yeah. And then we have lens style maps, but that's something else to talk about. The Excel maps, so to speak. That kind of cool.
Oh, I forgot lens maps in this.
Yeah,
but I could probably dig them up.
But let's see. Apart from Greyhawk, what is the next best map city?
My opinion.
Yeah, please go, and then I'll see if I match my opinion.
Hardby.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That was going to be my.
Now I have it turned sideways because this map is now, Mike. This is from this map is from a Living Greyhawk article that was done in Dungeon when they used to tie them in and have all this detail. So here's the map. Here's the map you may know. This is the map that's from the Slavers.
Yeah.
Okay. This map for the Slavers is decent, and it gets you an idea. But
I kind of like the style. It's a lot of info in a very simple form.
Sam Wood did the black and white one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone colorized it and did this, and it's got a lot of detail. Now, there's a Hardby map that I use that crosses over with this from the Earth Journal, I think 10 or 11, that has Hardby. And that map itself is colorized and is done, and I have them cross-referenced and smashed together as an amalgam, if I said that right, of both for my Hardby. And you know I love Hardby. Hardby's one of my favorite settings in Greyhawk. So I sure think Rel Astra, Paul Luby, Photography Barabas already.
Yes, Rel Astra, but that one, then we're going into fantastic maps made by fans.
Grapbar, you gotta have to look up the Hardby. It's a Hardby Living Greyhawk adventure. All right, here. Go ahead, keep going, Anna. I got it.
I was going to say, so the Rel Astra map that they tie in with so many other wonderful fan-made maps, and that's something we should dig into as well. And
what's that? Rel Astra?
Yeah.
Where do we have a Real Astro map?
Is it in
someone did. He also did a map
in the fan community.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're talking fan community too here. So here's the Hardby City that is Scorned. It should say Dungeon / Polyhedron April. Yeah, here's the article. By Paul Luby.
He also did a map of Paul Luby. Yeah.
That's it. So
April
04 it looks like.
Yeah.
So that would be in a
and those big statues, I forgot about them. They are in Hardby too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
I did a map of Real Astra. I taped 4 pieces of graph paper together to make a huge map for the city.
Yeah.
I never finished it, I don't think.
Real Astra is fan and beautifully done. Asher, where is it? Where is that, by the way?
Hang on a second. I think it's Boss Lock. Yeah, I think so. I have it in. Hang on a second.
Cannon Fire if it's anywhere.
Okay. All right, well, that's cool. I don't have that one up. So this is where I need what I like. And Rich, you're here and you're basically running Cannon Fire right now. I think your next project, and this is why I wanted to do this whole topic, was we have a map press the button, links to the maps for the cities and all of Greyhawk. I think that would be the next thing to do beyond the adventure finder and the cards. I think that's
I wasn't
the
really
idea
go
behind
into
this. Yeah. So
there's a lot of fan-made maps going way back into antiquity of the internet.
Yeah, the fan-made map of Real Astra are made by Gerald Lehman.
Okay.
Huh.
And they
awesome,
they are in many ways
that's cool.
Fantastic. I love the style. They're just awesome. He made a regional
I don't have them
map.
Link, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so.
And he also made one of Iron Gate. The problem is that his Iron Gate map doesn't match the Dragon article and the published material. That's the problem. But Real Astra have so little published material, so what is on his map actually matches that. So I have that. To me, I'm buying that in a heartbeat, so to speak, because it's so great.
Well, I could talk about things not matching.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
But we have that issue with published maps too.
That's a lot.
Exactly. So there's a lot and we get into that. There's some maps that in a way Gerald Lehman's maps are better than his Real Astra maps are better than almost anything published for Greyhawk. His Iron Gate map are as probably better than half of what's published for even with his flaws, better than half of it, so to speak. So yeah.
There's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, we have divers. Yeah.
That one is the one I can't even remember who did this one that I found.
Yeah, but that is actually put together from a lot of sources. So that one, I think it's what is there is well made. It's only halfway done, so to speak, but it's what's there. It's really cool.
The divers map in Slavers is about as sparse. It's like a napkin.
Here it is.
On a napkin.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like
what is that?
Yeah, but it is a distinct style that I kind of like in a way. What's there? The problem is that it looks like it's one of these tourist maps where you only see the points of interest and the rest of it is just left blank.
See, after they moved the capital to Tyndall, the whole divers fell apart.
Yeah, exactly. Just 90% of it disappeared. So it gives you the wrong vision. But I can see where the school they come from. But as a city design, it's a bit boring because they just took the terrain and meaning there seems to be no geographical reason for anyone to build a city in that spot. And to me, that is kind of seems to be
live
wrong.
Your life on the river.
But if you have, then at least there should be a reason for, if you build a big city or develop a city, you will choose a point where it's convenient or defensible or whatever. But they just seem to have taken the random part of a beach.
It's on the right bank of the.
Yeah, exactly. At least on the right side of the
on the right side.
So at least they got that one right. But here the high port map here, I think this by Aaron Frokie and all his maps are fantastic. They are outstanding. They have so much character. But the cool thing is here you actually see that there seems to be a reason for the city to be developed there, to grown there, because they have a good natural port. That high port map is to me way worse because there is like no reason why the city would be there in the first place. But I think that Aaron's design is based because there was a high port map. I think it is in the Slavers.
It's Slavers.
That was based
on. It's so bad.
Yeah, exactly. That is the same basic lazy design that we saw from divers.
Layout, but it there's hardly any building.
Yeah, meaning it was and the divers. Yeah, exactly. The divers and the Heartbeat are made by someone who is a good illustrator and a good artist, but seems to have no cartography experience.
Well, yeah. So I think that Vatican's boys. We talk about divers. Divers was placed there as a former capital, and it was just a midway point along the trade route, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the main reason for divers existing there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
it has the trade coming from down the Velverdiva, and then they reload into the near Dib. So it's an obvious place for a city to be.
I'll give you an example, and if I'm wrong, you guys can yell at me. Toledo, Ohio. Where that is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same kind.
Yeah. So. And I was thinking Europe, we probably have Amsterdam will be another laying. Well, it's by the sea and not by a big lake. Europe doesn't have lakes that big, so it's probably
And we could go back
Toledo,
to
Cleveland, or someone along the big lakes there. Chicago, in a way, is that way too.
Yeah. Why is it there? Why not? I mean, if you figure out
Divers
logic,
is strategically there. Divers is in an obvious spot. Greyhawk is in an obvious spot, and if you tweak with the rivers and the waterways a little bit, and you have Thornwood is in an obvious spot. That's one of the most strategic cities on the. Thornwood, up in the gap there. That's another obvious city to be in a spot. Spine Castle is another one. Rossi's by the center of the Flamney Valley, so to speak, where that one is kind of obvious to be there. So there's a bunch of them that are kind of
Vatican's
obvious.
boy, write about divers again and put it into their journal or Cannon Fire or whatever. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, John, for the gift sub.
There's a bunch of these kind of trade cities that are in obvious trade locations that I think are, and a lot of people are missing. One of them is that we rarely talk about is Nessermouth. That is barely a city, but it should be at the mouth of the Nesser and the Duntide, and that is kind of an obvious city. Both location on the when it comes to on the ocean, it's between the Sea of Gernot, Woolly Bay on one end, and Relmar. The Relmore Bay, and then the Sea of Strait out to the Azure Sea.
Give me a second here, as Jay's going to risk it, because I don't remember what I played on my other. Because this, I have this all prepped up for the fantasy mapping show with 4 different screens, but I didn't prep it for tonight. But I think I should be able to get to it pretty quickly here and put the full map up without crashing everything. But then again, I'm not 100%.
We might need it to sort of have it in the back burner for today, because we probably going to pop all over the place. But when it comes to forgotten cities in the Flannies, I think this one.
Where'd you say it is?
Nessermouth. Go to east of Pomarsh.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, and then it's on that peninsula that juts out between the Sea of Gernot and the Relmore Bay, and it's one of the most. Yeah, there you go, and then zoom in on that peninsula a little bit north and up north. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there is Nessermouth.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I think on the public map it's only a large town, because
so you changed it.
Yeah, I changed it to a city in my campaign, and on the other hand, the details on Nessermouth are very flaky. I don't think there's hardly anything set there, but that is a town or a city location that fulfills almost every tick in the book, so to speak. It's strategically located for sea trade. It has 2 major rivers flowing up to it. It's also in a river delta, which means that it's probably very fertile land around it, and you can have a small defensible position, so to speak, around it. So there is almost every reason to build a city there. Okay. So if it's like the Cairo or Alexandria or Amsterdam or New Orleans or a lot of cities.
This is the southernmost tip of Nyrond.
Yes, exactly. Wow. So it's the Nauron's southern outpost, but it's one of these cities like Thornwood and Greyhawk and Divers and stuff, meaning the location just screams to build a city for so many reasons. So it's one of these cities that I think is underrated and should be mentioned for. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's one of these that is probably an import-export harbor, and it's also a sea trading spot going east, west, north to south. So it has dual reason to be there. So I think it should be a metropolis, almost really big, so to speak, because it's a safe port when you go north to south, east to west, and up and down river.
And it's also, Anna, I mean, I totally agree. It's got all the hallmarks for being a prime port. Mm-hmm. But if it were indeed that, then there'd be no need for Hardby or Highport or whatever. Right?
It will be
just kind of.
Yeah, it would be, because that was the reason. My guess is that Nessermouth was there before Greyhawk and Hardby grew big, and that way. But the thing is, then Celinton meaning Nesser is a way much longer way. Once the Salintan and the Greyhawk grew larger, so to speak, and they could facilitate trade, it's a much shorter route. So then they compete, so to speak. But I see that there is a reason for both of them to grow.
Greyhawk is also one of the reasons Divers has this inferiority thing going on, like second city status.
Yeah, kind of, because but on the other hand, they are both part of the same chain, or because Greyhawk facilitates trade between the ocean and Nirdiv, and Divers facilitate trade with the Velverdiv of the whole northwestern Flannies into the Nirdiv. So they probably export and import to each other. So they are like major port cities. They are dependent on there being other major port cities to export and import from. So they probably drive growth for each other when it comes to that. But when it comes to political power, they are rivals, definitely. They're like Venice and Florence and stuff like that. They're both dependent on trade with each other and with their neighbors, but they want to control and set the rules, both of them.
Funny, Jason. That's funny. Filmed Greyhawk Girls Gone Wild there.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, Nessermouth.
So Anna, I would have never even known about
but I have a number of these cities that for a campaign reason you should look into to develop more, so to speak, because there's good reasons for them to be there.
I mean, has anyone ever done any detail oriented?
I don't think so, but it's high on my list to want to develop because I think it's one of these underrated places in.
It wasn't called Nessermouth. I wouldn't know where it's at.
Exactly, yeah, but I think also the name is fantastic because it is the mouth of Nesser. So it's a great name, a great location, and and especially since the Pomage have become unreliable and scary and difficult. Even then, you want to stick to the northern coast, and then Nessermouth is a safe port in a civilized country going east and west. So yeah.
It's awesome.
So that's one of them. So that now I've been having my.
No, it's great. I mean, that's what this discussion is about tonight. It's like
I have more of them that are forgotten.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. Go ahead, Mike. You want to talk about one? Go ahead.
No, I was reading. It says often mouth is pronounced muth. So
Nessermouth. Okay, perfect. Yeah, awesome. Like Thank you. Yeah.
So if we go to a lot that are published in Adventures and then redone.
Yes, that's my Mike Schley, I presume.
It looks it. So now I didn't put many of the older editions out here, but I really like this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a better map of Orlane, though, right, Anna?
Your game
the entire one on my table.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
But I won't put that up. But this is really nice.
It is, and it's interesting. This to me is a quaint kind of Renaissance or later village in a safe, prosperous, safe country, so to speak, or safe area. And maybe Orlane was that, but most villages or small towns, if they're in an area where there might be trolls and stuff like that, or other things coming, thugs or whatever, then you will probably gang up closer and build a wall or some defenses and gang the houses closer together and stuff. So that's something when it comes to city design or town design and stuff, that the climate, meaning the political climate, the crime rate, how dangerous the environment is, reflects how the city and town is built and constructed. And to me, Orlane is built in an idyllic place where everybody can have their own little backyard and stuff like that. You can kind of promote the production of things and privacy rather than defensive capability. Okay, I think I saw my name here. So
So I don't know where I got this map. I really don't. It looks like a Schley. It may not necessarily be a Schley. It may be someone copying a Schley. Note that Orlane is not walled at all.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah. So it seems to be a very safe neighborhood to be in, so to speak. Yeah. And we have David's question: are there any destroyed cities in Greyhawk? Yes, there are several. Most of them old, though. Most of them really old. The Flan had several, meaning I think the one of the most famous one, Tostinka or Skrellingsheld is one that has come to mind, and then you have Hadadraga, or however you pronounce it. It's that I'm not sure.
All right, let me remember this. All right. Which one are we talking about?
Hadadraga in the Lort Mills. I can't pronounce that. It's Hadadraga.
It's destroyed though.
All right, so
yeah, it's so old that it's destroyed in the north central Lort Mills, east of Grand March.
Yes, but all right, it's in chat. I won't remember unless you whisper me because I get so many stuff all whole time. So just I appreciate that. Just throw it into the whisper.
Yeah.
That way I know. That way I have a record of it.
Yeah.
You just all right. So where are we heading?
North Central Lort Mills. There is the old.
Is.
Yeah, the old. I've actually moved it a bit on my map because and on
this
the
location
map,
here.
No, a little bit north, up north, still north and west. There you get it. Yeah.
Oh,
I moved it. Yeah, I moved it. Yeah. How do you pronounce that?
Hadadraga.
Oh, good. Now, thank you. You have also a problem with it, so I'm so glad I'm not the only one who can't pronounce it.
Oh
so,
gosh.
Hadadraga. Yeah. So I put it. I'm going to move it into the valley in there, the hidden valley, because you probably don't build up on the. Like 20,000 feet or 15,000
You better
feet.
check with Rich because Rich and David Leonard because that long low road connects. I bet you to this. So if
we have to think about it because I'm thinking that mountaintop cities I think are kind of they should be rare because the only reason to build up there is if you have so much wealth to protect, so to speak, because you can't trade really. Imagine going up to a treetop when you don't even do it today with all the modern technology we have. And you will basically freeze to death up there. So the climate, it's polar almost. So to build it up on tall mountaintops, meaning no, it doesn't happen. And I see in a fantasy world, it probably happen even less, but you can with magic and divine intervention or whatnot, you can always have the exception. But
what if you're building on a volcano?
Exactly, that might be even worse because then you have the problem of uncertainty of existing the next century or something like that. But short-lived.
There's a lot dwarven and elvish.
Exactly, we have plenty.
Cities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we have one that it's next door to where you are. Go to Grand March.
Yep.
And the central Grand March, we have one that is infamous but forgotten.
There you go.
Yep, and zoom in straight in there, and there's one called Fleeth. Anyone knows the story of Fleeth? Yeah.
Okay. Where is it?
It's my placement, though. I think I have good reason to put it there, but
I don't see it. Am I looking right at it?
Yeah, it might be that you have a too old version of the map.
This is 576.
Yeah, it should be just northwest of Shibboleth, east of the Rushmores, just east of the Rushmores. Oh, it's there. You just have to go a little bit south. It's in the south edge of the map.
Geez, I'm looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So northwest of Shibboleth and of the city of Shibboleth, it's the ruined city of Fleeth. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most infamous cities of the Flanese history.
Okay.
It was the center of Vecna's empire. And his birth city.
And you placed that. That's cool.
Yeah, I placed it there for it was mentioned to be in the Sheldamar Valley, in the center of the Sheldamar Valley. And I took that spot because it's the narrowest gap between the Rushmores and the Lort Mills.
Okay. So
if you put it there at that location, then you can kind of guard the gap between there. And I just wanted and one of the in a way first I just wanted to say, well, Shibboleth is the Fleeth, but it was written to be abandoned. And so I simply want to say that Shibboleth was not a river city. It was not a trade city. It was built. This is my interpretation of history here, so to speak, saying that it was one of these old Flan had what they often did was hill forts, because they built cities not primarily as trade reasons, but for defensive reasons. So they took a hill and then they made a little moat around it and a wall around the top of the hill and built a city on top. They started with a village and they grew from there, so to speak. And that's how a lot of the cities back in old Europe, in pre-medieval Europe, from Bronze Age, Iron Age, and before medieval times. A lot of the cities and towns were actually built on hill forts for defensive reasons. And so I simply assume that the Flan did a lot of that. And Fleeth was probably built on a hill to defend the gap between the Lort Mills and the Rushmores.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
How long ago was it destroyed?
It was destroyed probably about 3,000 years ago. So
okay, so in 3,000 years, there may not be anything left of it.
Exactly, it's just the ruins. Yeah, so
I mean,
you go there and you find some.
You need archaeology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's archaeology. So it's one of these destroyed cities that is mentioned in Flan lore, so to speak.
What's up, Bill?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other interesting reason, meaning cities have many different reasons to be there, meaning they can be a pure trade city that is based on trade. It can simply be, or it can be a very defensive location, or it can also be the most fertile area. So it becomes a farmer's market where farmers simply show up to sell and exchange their camels, cows, sheep, chickens, whatever it is, and do all that. So there's some examples of all of these in the Flannies that I think, and some of them are designed, constructed as a city. Some of them grow over millennia.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yes, religious. Yeah. Sorry to say, perfect, good reason. Religious reason. Yes, that is another good reason to have it. There might be some godly intervention, a rock of some sort, or a cave, or an old holy tree, or whatever you want to build a city around. And I guess religious reasons, at least back in medieval Europe and stuff, that was also seen as tourism. That was some of the earliest forms of tourism were religious tourism. You went to see the biggest cathedral or whatever it was. So some, and then that was part of marketing too.
So, is there a question still about why Divers is where it is? We still have that?
Okay, yeah, we could say my see is that you have Velverdiva is one of the biggest rivers in the Flannies and one of the biggest trade routes. And to have a city that is at the mouth of the Velverdiva when it flows out into Nirdiv is kind of an obvious location for trade. So facilitate, meaning you can go from river traffic to lake traffic. And to have it. So it's also the western end of the Nirdiv. So and Nirdiv is like 4 times the size of one of the Great Lakes. So it's a huge, meaning it's like an ocean in that way. You can have ocean going ships and trade with the other end, so to speak. And half the Flannies almost have access to the Nirdiv. So it's like a central ocean. And to have a big city in the western end of it makes sense. And then you have one of the biggest rivers in the Flannies coming where you can trade with everything from tiger nomads to wolf nomads and all the way down. And also the trade from the Baclunish comes that way too, Thornward, and then you take it river-wise through Falls River and then down the Velverdiva. So you basically trade with half the Flannies, and it comes to Divers. So Divers has a trade reason, if nothing else, to be there. And I guess it was also developed to be the Great Kingdom's way of controlling that trade, going west, northwest, and west. So that's probably when it was established. When the Great Kingdom came, they established both Greyhawk and Divers to be outposts guarding strategic locations, so to speak, for trade and power.
Awesome. Flipping back.
Yeah.
We can always go back and forth.
I know I'm babbling again so much.
No, babbling is good.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Babbling is really good. So it seems like the large cities is where there's really a lack of good maps. The smaller ones like this from this map, which I have on my wall, and I forget what, I think it came out of the Dragon, the dungeon as well, that they did the Age of Worms, and that is the Diamond Lake map.
Yes,
okay.
But so the thing, places where you have modules set, you get awesome maps with.
Yeah, so you have this. Now, what's really good about this is, and I forget who did it, but this, through DeviantArt, someone really did detail and took this map and made this. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Wow.
Yep.
So that is, and I'm gonna blow this up a little bit here.
Perfect
cover it.
example
Yeah,
of
exactly.
fan-made,
Yeah.
improved fan-made maps. Oh,
Yeah.
that looks
So
gorgeous. Yep.
yeah, it is. It is really, really nice.
Where these maps excel, going from, say, an old black and white right out of Fata Vistas to this fan-made one, is not just the color, I don't think, but also the fact that there's surrounding terrain at it.
Exactly.
A lot of
Now
the
you
early
get.
maps have no reference of
Yeah.
terrain.
Mhm. Yep.
So you'll see when I run Diamond Lake, I may have some of it out, but I'll take this square area here. All right, I'm gonna really blow it up. See that square? I have all these buildings detailed, and I have these
Yeah.
on my table
Yeah.
along with Bill's. Bill, are you still there? Bill's favorite place,
Bill?
which is in our own Finn and the Tickling Feather. There you go, Bill. Bill's House of Ill Repute is right off the circle there for his character Sailing. Yes. So, but it's good to have those maps because with those you can then build off of it, whether you're using the VTT or whether you're using a tabletop or there's some detail. So, but they're rare and few and far between. And that is something that I think that we really need some development.
Yeah, and Rick Longitalos has Rick, you have a good point there, and that's another reason why I think that the reason they built divers at the location 25 or like 100 miles from the mouth of the river rather than at the very mouth of the river is probably because there was a good natural harbor there. That could take ocean-going ships, and that's one of my main caveat with the horrible map in the Slavers is that there is no natural harbor there, and the only reason I can see that they actually built the city in the not optimum location strategically, it's because geographically it must have been a very good spot, so to speak, and not just along the beach randomly,
right? Because the closer you get, you may lose seaworthiness of certain ships going up.
Exactly. So yes, but I could totally see that you can trade some of the strategic placement in order to get all the geographical features that you need, so to speak. That might be a good trade-off. But you don't build on a beach, and if there must be a beach 50 miles closer to the mouth of the river, so to speak.
So you go from a couple good maps, and I may be missing some out there, and please point them out to me if I am missing maps. But you had to this, and we all have seen. I mean, this is like the worst of the worst. This is Shendal, like from.
But I must defend when it comes to the horrible map horrors of Fate of Vistas. Exactly, that's the best one of them, I think, or one of the best ones.
Oh my gosh, really?
So Diesel did the cartography for that book.
Oh yeah, and it's the most primitive. Great. Yeah, but it's the most primitive ever, so to speak. But when it comes to, because here it actually, one of the good things with this map is that he excluded all the white non-terrain outside the city. He just shows the city walls, period, so to speak. And you can actually get like a decent idea of what the city looks like. Because the other maps show a lot of white emptiness outside that we know are not empty because there must be terrain there, so to speak, and detail. And it's also showing some important aspects with Shendal is that Shendal is described to be a constructed city. It's like when the Kingdom of Pharaon became Foriundi and they abandoned Divers as their capital, they built and constructed a new capital from scratch that became Shendal. And that's why I think that to have a square city wall like that and canals and like big geometric shapes, that makes sense. A lot of constructed cities that don't grow organically are often, the perfect example we have in the real world is Brasilia, that is constructed by an architect's dream and a lot of people's nightmare, because there is like opinions, either it's the most glorious example of architecture on the planet, or is it one of the most horrible cities on the planet when it comes to city design. So you take your side on that. But it makes sense to have a geometric city that kind of should show splendor and all that. So when it comes to the layout of the city, I think Chendal is one of the better ones in that book because it makes sense from its own merits, so to speak.
All right, it's certainly better than this one, which I think is the worst of all time.
Yeah. That one is kind of it's bad. That one is terrible. Yeah.
This is
it's
Scarlet Brotherhood
weird.
town.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, someone had been to, but but it's interesting. To me, only in North America could have. Only in North America could have drawn it because in North America, almost all cities have the square grid.
It's got to fit the page.
Yeah.
It's a dungeon.
Yeah.
It's just like a dungeon.
Thank you very much for that.
And David has a good sense. Do geometric cities still make sense when the land is not flat? No, I don't think so. But then you can do geometric.
So that's Hisul Ilshar, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you go to the Scarlet Brotherhood, Sean Reynolds' Scarlet Brotherhood, the maps in there. So that is a diesel map.
Yeah.
In the Scarlet Brotherhood, the maps are done by Sam Wood, and the Hisul Ilshar suddenly is round. It's web design.
Right.
Yeah. Which is much better. Yeah.
And I must have that downstairs, the Scarlet Brotherhood one. But I want to point out.
That's the version I use.
What's up there, Jason?
And here is another horror map in a way because
Verbank.
Because there's no river, and it's a river city.
Yeah. Well,
come on here. It's the same thing with Rockroost.
To the east, west. I don't know.
I mean, if you haven't even read or even looked at the Darlene map or read the basic description, and I don't mind the actual layout of the city, except for the fact that it doesn't seem to have found its purpose. The missed it.
I'm trying to find. All right.
So if it had any kind of geographic reference, I think that Verbank map is not one of the worst in that book.
No, it's except for the river part. Otherwise, it looks kind of like a medieval city, gritty and stuff. So but I would redo some of it so there will be a river.
No, I was going to jump to another one. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, one last thing with Verbank. I think there's other Verbank maps out there.
Yes,
I couldn't find them.
Oh, hang on a second. No, Jason Zavoda has, I think, the best one I've ever seen.
Jason Zavoda has a Verbank map?
Yes. Oh, yes. But it's not a map. It's like your Altamira. It's on his game table.
Really?
He's shown it on the show. Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's the best Verbank map ever made. He has a model of it. It's fantastic. It's awesome.
Am I missing something? Did I sleep through that?
Oh yeah, you slept through it. Must have, because he's been on the show and you showed the pictures.
Jason, you got a whole rendering of Verbank on your table?
Oh well, it had that one time. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it, and it's it looks in my opinion looks gorgeous. It's awesome. It's by the river. It seems to have the right size. Maybe not enough houses, but that's simply. You can't buy that much Dwarven Forge. You need another 10,000, and you need two bills to make all your awesome building models and stuff. So yeah.
So I haven't heard of that.
I use a medieval model. Yeah. Yeah.
Have not heard of that. I use a medieval model. Okay. All right. That's cool, Jason.
It's a great. Yeah, Jason. I'm
sorry, Jason, if I lost lost it in my head there.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Mike. You were going to mention one.
One of my least favorite maps out of Fate of Istis is the Royal Morgue Map.
Yeah.
So here we have one of the biggest cities population-wise in the game, and it's just sparse. It's like they quit halfway through drawing it.
Yeah, they didn't have time.
And then the river. Now I don't know which side the river's supposed to be on. That's what the north, it's on the southwest bank.
The river goes in opposite direction. The river should go from southwest to northeast,
and then
or northeast to southwest.
And in the Marklands, the map is completely different, and the river's on a different bank. So those two maps don't even have any resemblance to each other.
Like him says, it's on the wrong side of the river.
Oh yeah, and the river goes kind of. You have to kind of make the bend go terribly difficult. So yeah. So someone didn't do their homework when they did that map either.
Yeah, it's just a map, city, river, slap Royal Morgue on it.
Yeah. We have to to rotate that map 90 degrees, so to speak. So that way we can kind of, you rotate that map, and then it can make sense. And then make a port there too. Meaning the main reason the cities by the river is that to access the river, and they don't even have a port on there. So
well, the worst offender then on that one is same book, Fate of Issus, the Town of Illrid.
Yes. Don't get me started on how bad that is.
Let me
it's terrible.
Pull up Illrid
and the description is kind of some sort of, I don't know if it's a nightmarish thing or a fantasy or something. But
this
it's fantasy.
I don't get Illrid at all. Now I know in the Slavers they only do one small quarter of Illrid when they talk about where their slavers are. But this is
in Slavers it's just the port.
Yeah, just the port.
But the interesting thing is that and Aldred is not. I can't blame Diesel for the map in this case that much, because there is the precedent that Aldred, being a city by the coast, is actually not at the coast. It's like 20-mile inland, which to me makes no sense in a lot of ways. So it's one of these kind of someone put it there in the wrong spot, and then they just followed it slavingly from the Darlene map or something. So they actually created a port Elred that is a little bit towards the
King Discourse.
Yeah.
That is Jason. Now I remember. Oh, duh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and David had a good question. What about doing maps about cities as they evolve? Yes, I think that's the way to do a city map, is to start thinking how it evolves and do at least sketch it out in the early days, and then continue to over the years, so to speak, in order to get a city that looks organically real, so to speak.
If we had time.
Well, that's what we have fans for. Like, that's what people pay me to do stuff like
that.
So,
I understand that, Anna. But when there's only 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week, and
that's why we need more fans to do maps. We need more.
Oh my gosh.
We need Aaron Frokie to work full time on city maps and stuff.
Yeah. If there was money in it, there's not. That's the problem. It's
we have to work hard.
It's not a career. It's unfortunate that there are places that are close, but on the Rome, Athens, Troy anymore. Yeah, I mean that's so true. But Elrid, the enslavers, they place it on the coast. So, but
we have one in Nagoya Joe, Brian Wakenham. He asks, what about the good maps? And yes, there are some good maps.
Oh yeah, and trust me, I'm going to get to some that are. We have them, and we're just going through. The fandom maps are better, and I'm just going through what exists out there so that you can understand why we're having this show. And that is, there are maps that need to be done, a lot of them. And there are maps that are being done now just recently, and I'm going to share some of them, and some of them are scrolling through. And there are maps that we are sharing now that are at best average. And now let's go to this. If you go to From the Ashes, there's 2 of these. I like the way it's Safeton. At least there's some detail here with the Marine Quarter.
It feels the right size.
It feels well done. As far as it could, Good.
I don't like the fact that houses are neat rows. Right, they don't follow the so to speak. They're kind of, that looks like someone just was lazy in Photoshop or something. But it's but I agree, overall, for being in Fate of Is, this is one of the better ones. It has a port. It's kind of so it's not that bad.
She says From the Ashes.
Yeah, but the bar is low. The bar is very low. So yeah.
All right. And then my favorite, which with my notes on it here, is Norwell.
Yeah.
And once again, it's got straight rows.
Yeah. But I see that as a laziness in design. So
but what you see is that big building here, the Norwell Headhunters headquarters, and that upper area. That is the only area on my table right now, is that area. And this one I'm going to show because okay, so yeah, I got this area on my map, on my table right now for Norwell. So there you go. And I did the best thing I could to make it look more realistic and not this straight, because planning it out.
But that looks perfectly fine to me, and not the straight.
Right. So you got them, and they are in the From the Ashes box set. So Safeton and Norwell are at least passable.
Yeah. And you can have straight streets with straight blocks, so on and so forth, but not a whole city like that, especially not if the
Big Mac, no, Safeton should not have more than 2, and the reason is because remember it's under threat of the Pomarsh forces now, and Turin Deathstalker at the time of these maps is running the city, and he hates humanoids, and he is. 2 is more. They're only gonna have 2 entrances for defensive purposes. It is it's a town under siege.
It might be, yeah. They limit the access. Yeah,
absolutely. So that one I can understand it having only 2. It's not natural those neat rows, but it's still it's better than some of the other stuff we have out there. All right, so Mike, do you want to discuss any other ones that you like, and then I'll start going to some of the ones I have on here that are really cool.
Yeah, I have a forgotten one. If you have
forgotten one.
Yeah, I forgotten one that.
Do you want me to go to the area map, Anna?
Yeah, go to the area map, because there is a forgotten one that I think that both have a cool name and that rarely talked about much, and that's Radagast City.
Yeah, all right.
Which I think is one that is underrated.
Where is it? It's over here, right? It's down
it's
here.
near Div, eastern near Div.
Opposite.
Opposite of Divers. Yes, the opposite end, northeastern end of near Div. There you go. That's Radagast City. Yeah, that's one of the underrated cities of the Flannies. I think.
Technically, it's in the county of Ernst.
It's the capital of county of Ernst.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of the big cities, and it's a city that is mentioned in the Gord books, especially Muddick is from the Gord books, that town that is on the little island in the middle of the river. Yeah, it's there, and it's I think it's another obvious one, because it is in the eastern end of the Nurdiv, and it also along one of the biggest rivers, the Arton Samai. And so there is a good reason for it to be there. It's also a defensive bulwark a little bit against the unruly stuff in the Bandit Kingdoms and stuff. So it's probably a very well defended city, and so it kind of controls. So the county of Ulick can kind of use the river more than otherwise.
What a ripoff though for the name.
Exactly, that's what I'm going to say. The name, but wow. Which is kind of interesting in a way that they have a Midgard or Middle Earth ripoff, so to speak.
What? It could have been Gandalf City.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Radagast is yeah. It's not that bad, but it's kind of
Oh my. Well, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know if any maps exist on it.
Exactly. There are some fan-made maps that are actually not that bad. That they are much better than most published maps. So I've started to model it in for my future campaign needs, and I based it on some of the ideas, a little bit of Gord information, and some of the other fan ideas. And it's an interesting place, so to speak. It's one of these cool places because you have evil across the river, so to speak. So you can have it as a home base for adventuring, and you can sneak out and go on adventuring, and then you can come back home, so to speak, and stuff. So as an adventuring location, it's kind of cool, and it's big enough that you can have lots of things. And you can also have it as a way where you insert and infiltrate from the north and IUs and stuff like that. So you can have it as a bastion of good under a little bit of siege, so to speak. It's the last frontier before chaos starts. So it's kind of it's interesting that way. So I like, for a lot of Radagast City has a lot of appeal to me. It's also a big size, meaning it's 50,000 plus.
Yeah.
So and it's both a river and like the inland ocean city. So you have a lot of possibilities.
So determined but demented, great name.
Yeah.
Asks what is the gold standard, and I'm going to say Malden's Greyhawk map. Do we all agree?
For Greyhawk.
I would say I will hold another of Malden's map higher than that. It's a much less known and not as big and fancy, but in my opinion better, because it's based on Malden's design from the get-go.
Okay.
And that is Malden's map of Irongate.
Yeah, which I don't have. Well, I do have it. Wait a minute. So, but I don't know
that
what.
One,
it's
that
in
one
my
I
Iron
think
Gate,
is
and I don't-
fantastic because it has proper geology. It's a defensible position. It makes sense from
Let me see
almost
if I
every
can pop that
angle.
up. Iron
So I
Gate.
think that shows because here Malden had to work with what he had, so he could only
So
paint up
Malden's cartography, I believe, is kind of influenced by Harn maps. People are talking about Harn in the chat.
Yeah, and Harn was, when it comes to mapping, they were the setting that set the standard for the first 20 years of role playing when it comes to mapping. Yes.
All right, so
they took mapping seriously.
This is what I have now. This he's probably got more, but there's the.
There you have it. Yep. There is a version. He actually made a version where he put that in my version. He tweaked my terrain and put it in there too. But I think that is brilliant. It's a very simple map, but from a city design standpoint, I love it. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, says he uses this.
He was talking about like the city of Greyhawk as a. Not the layout of the city, but like the whole.
It's the head of Gary. And in profile, and to me that is kind of fun because you often use these anagrams where you use this kind of wordplay where you make versions like Gryrax and also meaning a lot of the names are versions of people's names of the authors' names. So I thought, there you go, and why not do a little bit of the same to kind of take that and so to me that kind of increases the charm a little bit. It ties into Greyhawk tradition. That's the
dock area.
Malden's
detailed it up. You can
exactly.
see there's no straight lines anywhere on buildings.
Exactly. I think that to me is a perfect example of good city design. So
as
Malden
great as that
really
city Greyhawk map is, I don't have it anymore, but I used to have a road map of Waterdeep. The kind that folds, brochures size. It folds out just like a big old road map. I think it's huge. I love that thing, and I don't have it anymore.
So that city design I think is the best done for Greyhawk. Period. I think Malden's Iron Gate is the best from that
fair
way.
assessment.
Maybe not the most stylish map, but when it comes to city design and layout and stuff like that, it's, to my opinion, holds the highest standard. So my hats off to Malden, for Dennis Tetro for doing that. It's fantastic. So
very, very cool. So that gives you an idea on that question as to what we consider a gold standard for a.
The map can be improved, but it's as style-wise maybe, but as a map and as a city design, I think it's really, really good.
All right, so why don't we let's discuss some fandom maps at this point. And let's start with, we know how bad Highport is, and gosh, my brain just shut off, and I should have put it in my notes. These are brand new. Someone and his initials are JR, and I can't remember, and I just saw this posted, and I apologize. But here's Highport done in Incarnate. All right?
Nice.
But I don't like that design.
Okay.
No, it's just a beach with the city, meaning there's no reason to build a city there.
Okay. But that's straight from Slavers.
Yes, I know that. So in that sense, it's good. So it's not the map that is wrong. It's that he adopted a bad design. And I can't blame him for that because the Slavers had the bad design. But compare that to Aaron Frokie.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So all right. So then we have Aaron Frokie's Highport. Which I have here, obviously, and that is this.
There you go. That is good because there you have a natural port. There is a reason for the city to be built there in the first place. And a little bit of interesting geography and
No, I mean, Aaron thinks it out a little bit more and actually adds some contours to it to give it a harbor. And I would agree that this is a fantastic sketch on map.
And also it has characters. So the map from a map styling perspective is gorgeous. It's just fantastic. I'm in awe.
This is way better than the Slavers map.
Oh yes, yeah. I wish someone like that could. Aaron should be hired to do all the maps in city in like Greyhawk folios and modules and stuff. They will be fantastic. So they're wonderful.
Yeah, this is very very nicely done by Aaron. So he's got a lot of maps. Now, if we go to another one he's done, let's jump to Aaron. One of my favorites is Enstad and Celine. And this is really cool.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow this one up in here.
So gorgeous. Yep. Yeah. And that's another of these forgotten cities that I think needs more development. So I'm especially thankful for Aaron doing this.
Yeah, he's done some really cool work here. He's added a lot of this is added for his campaign, but it's neat.
Yeah. And I agree with a lot of this design was I have sketches of Enstad, nothing fancy, only ideas for my own campaign, so to speak, and so I will definitely adopt a lot of Aaron's design here, and when I actually get to the city in some distant future or close future.
To Aaron Frokie. And Aaron's been on my show once. He has been on. Yeah, we
hope to have him on again. And if not, we should have him on for a mapping show or something, because his style is
Aaron
fantastic.
doesn't have a site. It's Aaron and then Frokie, Froke on Facebook.
Yep.
And yes.
So once in a blue moon, these awesome sketches comes out and grab them when you have the chance.
When you see an Aaron Frokie map, grab it.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, he does some really unbelievable work, and he's a very nice guy. And so you know, you can always just reach out and say, hey, Jay and Anna were showing off your stuff on Legends and Lore, and he'll go, "Oh, cool," you know. So
and if you go to Flanny's Geographical Society, he has posted, I think, all of these over the years.
Yes.
So if you search in that Facebook group and become a member, and if you're not, and then search in that group, and you can probably, and I'll keep an eye out during the show here if someone wants to be, and I can let you in. So that's where a lot of this have been discussed over the years. So yeah.
It's definitely a cool map to have of Enstad there, Jason, and I can not at the minute, but I'll post both those maps tonight for everyone in Cannon Fire Discord. Okay, both the Aaron Frokie maps there that we showed, I will post them in Cannon Fire Discord after the show. No problem.
So I ran to my bookshelf because I had to show a book that I got. I got this at a library book set.
Oh, cool.
Medieval Cities. Now, I don't know how well this will show up on here, but it has etchings, like old
there you go.
drawings.
That's awesome.
Yep. And you know these are drawn from sight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of
there
the
you
cities.
go.
You know, and some are isometric drawings.
Yep.
What years are those? Are those 1600s, 1500s?
Look at them city walls.
Yeah. Yeah, with all the defenses.
Oh yeah, these are all like
it's like Renaissance era.
Yeah, right.
Okay. 1400 on. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's just amazingly gorgeous drawings.
Yep.
That's awesome.
If you ever go to Europe, you should go to these boring city museums or these boring country museums where countries show off their ancient propaganda and stuff. Sounds like the most boring thing to do, but if you're into city maps and stuff like that, you should go to these historic museums and stuff and simply gorge in that, because that way you can find stuff of it. Yep. So you can find so many city museums. Basically, every city in Europe have a city museum that is full of stuff like that that you can get. So yeah.
Big Mac asks, why don't Greyhawk cities have Barbicans like Walmgate Bar in New York and York?
Yeah, the entrance seemed to have poor defense. Yeah, that's a good question. And I actually did, I sketched out how city defenses should work and how they worked in old cities, and also how my idea of improving them a bit for fantasy play.
Yeah, they are.
So I had them in when we did some sieges back from city forts and fortresses and cities up in Furundi during the Greyhawk Wars like 20 years ago. So I should definitely do a blog post and talk about them sketches, because they used dual portals. They had a moat outside, and they had two drawbridge, two gates, and there was like a big hole in the middle, so there was like an internal moat inside the gate, and there was a second drawbridge. So you have a drawbridge outside, and then you had the gate. So first you had the moat outside the city wall, and then you had a gate or like a drawbridge there. So you put the drawbridge up as to shield the gate. And then you had to work your way through that one. And inside the gate, there was a bar, like a iron bar that you lowered, so to speak. And then you had a second set similar and a big hole in the middle. So you basically had to, so in many ways, the gates were more defended than the wall was. So you made the gates, if you closed the gates, you had to be really determined to get in. So there is, so there is a good examples of how they did it, and so I basically made the best of. I've been to many European cities and Central Asia and stuff, and looked at medieval city defenses, what's left of them. And Dubrovnik is a perfect spot to go to and see this. And if you've been to 5 or 6 of them, you notice that there are different ideas. You have murdering holes, you have double moats, you have double gates, you have single gates, drawbridges and stuff. And then you can kind of make a best of and make a city with all the bells and whistles on the defenses. And I made a model of that. So I'm going to dust off those sketches and scan them in and make a blog post about it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So and I bet there are sites on so Google it and old medieval city defenses, and you can probably see all the different variants of this. Yeah.
So the gentleman did Highport in Incarnate, did another city here, and here, this is Dorka.
Yep.
Same style. It's something, man. It's better than the map that they had.
But we have I don't blame it. It's simply because the overall original design of the Dorka map was not that impressive, so to speak. And Mike, you did a Dorka map. Some time ago, and that's cool too. It's not as fancy technical as this good looking Incarnate.
Yeah, Incarnate's getting there. So
Incarnate is great for stuff like this. So
my map was isometric. And
yes,
it had it's a travel guide. It's got the labels.
But it's kind of cool that way. But there is I use the Evil. There is an interesting illustration. I'll see if I can find it in
which one. I got it right here.
It's in I Use the Evil. There is an illustration. I think it's in I Use the Evil, if I remember correctly. See if I can find it.
Okay.
There is an illustration for. Well, there we go. I have to find it if I remember correctly. I'm going from memory here, so we'll see. I have to find it. So we have. I think there's an illustration of what the city might look like. That no one realized it is the city, and I want to.
Mike, I wish I had that, or I'd link it. I'm sorry.
You have this horrible abomination here that is the same way, just an empty beach.
Right.
They need to be have more creativity than that.
Is that on the right coast?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's at least the directions are right.
That's correct on that one.
That's good. And I don't mind all the locations here are awesome. It's the layout of the city, but the terrain that is boring and non-creative.
Quiz, what coast of the island is Edmundford on?
What city?
Edmundford.
Edmundford.
I'm going to say that
Edmundford.
It's on the southern. It's on the northern
coast of the Walworth Isle. No, Edmundford is on the southern coast of the Walworth Isle.
Southern coast
of Walworth
Isle.
Oh yeah. I've studied. I know that island inside and out.
I can draw
a map of that island in my sleep.
Why is that port not facing the coast of their own damn country then?
No, because it's probably for 2 reasons. One is that was a good location to build it. Secondly, it's the location in the middle of Nirdöv. It's not there to serve their own coast primarily. It's to serve all the external trade with the rest of the world. Because you have to realize, I think it was built by the explorers of Grey Kingdom
That's
before
fine.
there was a shield land.
Yeah,
That's
well,
my guess.
Casey's saying Natural Harbor's fine, but before that map came out, we had no maps of that island.
Yeah.
Detailed maps. So that Natural Harbor could have been on the west coast.
You know what it
or the
reminds
east
me
coast,
of?
or
I'm
the-
sure there are 5 other places on that island that, or
Yeah.
10 that you can build it. But
It's
my
artist
guess is that,
interpretation.
but my guess is that the city was built originally as a kind of a staging point for expansion westward, seaway by the Grey Kingdom, by the Iridians back originally. And not there was no shield end to serve. So when shield end came around, Admanford were already established as a port, so to speak, by the Great Kingdom.
Shouldn't it have like ports on every side of the island, and then like the main headquarters is in the middle of the island?
Yes, that's exactly, and that's in my campaign. It has. I have a port that called Fingarn, a town that is on the northern side, just across the narrowest point, because to me it makes perfect sense to have one there too. So So I added a town of that is called, I think it's called Fingarn. Hang on a sec. Yeah, Fingarn. Yep.
It reminds me of Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, and then I have this Splessona. Yeah, and then I have a town called Splessona on the eastern side too, a smaller town there as well.
So it's a cool. I mean, hey.
Yeah, but I'll see if I can find that illustration of the. It's somewhere in here.
I love me some shield lands.
Hang on a second. Maybe it is in the. Maybe it's not in here. Maybe it is in the. I'm going to say I forgot which book it is in, but it's in one of them.
Okay.
No, it's not in there. So I need to.
Fun fact. The city cartography in Marklands and I Use the Evil was done by someone named John Krecht.
Okay.
Or Krecht. And his style is in the image of Diesel's.
Yes.
They're almost indistinguishable.
Oh yeah, but he probably had an order to follow that style because it was like, or inspired by it, or ordered to follow it.
Because his Kendall map is basically a tracing of the Diesel map, but then ruined.
Yeah. So I don't blame him for that. It's the overall city design that is bad, not the maps per se, because you can have a simple map like that could be very purposeful, but you need to, and there are some city examples. I think I'm onto it somewhere.
Well, okay, Anna, let me know.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to.
I might be mistaken here, but
who did this just recently for us? So I apologize. Was this Mattias? Here's Nerl.
No. Oh yeah, I think it's Mattias. No, it's Madalar, I think.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it
it's
wasn't Metalier. No.
No, it's not. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I forgot who did it, but it's a gorgeous map.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
I think it is.
Someone
isn't
did.
that upside down?
Was it Sean? Someone did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one's posted. Yeah, so there you go. That's a nice map that's done.
I need to find that.
Yes, they're posting. Can't have heard this. Sure. Do you know who did this one? I forget. I mean, I know it was just recently done, but I think this was adapted in reverse. They picked this city map and then they built. No, it's Campaign Cartographer. It's Patreon. It was a Daniel's Maps that was edited into Nerl. So this is not Nerl per se. There was no map of Nerl, and it was just used as Nerl. Okay? This is a Daniel's Maps from a Patreon.
I lost that one. Yep.
Mattias, that's what I think it was. PR Mattias.
Oh,
That's
Mattias.
what I thought
okay.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool.
All right,
yeah.
But it is not Nerl built from scratch. It was used
but it's
for
a great city map.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic city map in many ways. Yeah.
Note that you can do that sometimes, especially in your own home campaign. It doesn't have to be shared with the world. You know, it's a good idea for that
and
sometimes.
And I should not complain too much about city design because I've only done a few city maps myself. So I've done sketches for my own campaign, like a dozen of them. But when it comes to real city maps, I've only done 2. I've done the one for the Southlands campaign, and I've done one for my own Shield Lane campaign. So, but I'm getting there. So Crit Wall is in the early stages. So yeah. Yeah.
So, Anna, do you have what you wanted to share?
No, I didn't find it. So screw it. Yeah.
So you talked about Vincent Metelier, and here is some maps, and these towns are ones right in that area you just changed, Anna, in the area for Patriots of Ulick. So here's a black and white copy of Ritter's March. All right, this is the black and white version of this.
Yeah. All right, and he made a color version of it too.
Yeah,
that is wonderful, gorgeous.
Here's the color
maps.
version.
Yeah, fantastic maps. Yeah.
So we think that this is pretty much detailed up nicely. The wall, nothing's straight. The walls are, all over.
Yeah, I love it. It looks like a map of a fantasy medieval-esque city.
What's up? What's there? Valmoku, good to see it. So yeah, it's a nicely done map.
Yeah, it has geography and even comes with the city symbol and all that. It's
all hand drawn, I believe. Yeah, so it's really nice. So you also have, he did some other ones. I have them here. Of course, they're alphabetical, so they're all over the place here. Here's Oakenberg.
Oh, okay.
Another one.
Yep. He's done a lot down there. So
he's got his campaign. His campaign is set in that area.
Ah, okay.
So there's Oakenberg. Another one.
Reminds me of Otisburg.
Yeah.
So we got some smaller towns that are being done. And Brentford. Here's Brentford Center Town. Okay, and that's up there. Here's Brentford, a larger area map.
Yes.
And then he has the center town, which just showed, right? So he has that in a larger one, and then here's Brentford. So he's done some decent work here. You know?
Oh, more than decent. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful work. Yeah.
So he has, if you want all these V Metelier, it's all in his DeviantArt. Right open. He said he sent to me in a message that you're more than welcome to take them right off his DeviantArt page. All right, and you may see them on Facebook posts, but that's the best place to go to see his stuff is DeviantArt. So, all right, and that's some nice stuff in the Northern Principality of Ulick.
Yeah.
Thank you for the follow there. Try VMATTELIER. I think that's it. I think that's it in DeviantArt. Yep. And if not, I will get you a correct one, but you may just want to do a search on the town name and you'll be able to find it that way to him. But yeah, he's got some nice stuff, and I'm thinking that I've gone through all the maps I had. Oh, no. So let's do, I don't know why, but we haven't even talked about Joe Block's Aurelhai Sinlu, right? So
there you have it.
Yes, and then the JR did Aurelhai Sinlu in now this is pretty good in Incarnate. So that's done. So he copied off of Joe Blocks and did that in Incarnate.
Yeah.
So that's neat to do. So we have those.
As a map, I think it's awesome, but the original city design I have some qualms about. First of all, I don't think an Underdark city is built in one big. It should be multiple caverns, so to speak. It should be like multiple caverns connected, so to speak.
Geralingthal?
Yeah. It should not be like one gigantic city like it's built over land. It should be kind of built in multiple caves with connecting and links in between and stuff, and you can also have a city in several, not everything in one level. It would make more sense to have it in a 3D environment, to actually have some of things stacked on top of each other, and because that will actually make the city more the structure better, so to speak. You don't make like one gigantic hole. You will make smaller holes, more like a Swiss cheese kind of thing, and you live in the hole, so to speak. That way you will make the mountain structurally better. So I think there's a lot of things that I think it was lazy city design again, so to speak. They didn't think of the environment when they did it. They just, oh, we want a city design, and they just made a city and then darken it because it's underground, and that would be it.
Rich houses of the dark elves is in the vault. They got to have their big city, and all that other stuff you're talking about, Anna. That's just the burbs.
Yeah. Okay, that's a birds. Yeah, but you can have the
adventure.
Yeah, yeah. But it's these things that I think that a good city design should reflect the environment the city is built in and under, so to speak. And meaning if it's an agricultural city built in farmland that is haven't had a war in 1,000 years, they might not even they might skip the city wall.
That design was probably came out before the Dungeoneer Survival Guide was created.
Yeah.
To add some of that realism.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the Wilderness Survival and the Dungeoneer Survival Guides is the guide are some of the best books for AD&D in my opinion. They're fantastic.
They're cool. And
just like
Tim's go-to books.
Yeah,
for basically the way he bases non-weapon proficiencies up. Yeah,
they're great. But can I put in a couple of forgotten cities?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me go back to that map.
Yeah. I have two cities in Furuundi that are kind of forgotten to the most. One is actually, there is a little bit of detail on one of them.
Okay.
And that's the northern coast in Furuundi, the forgotten coast. There you have the city of Crockport and you have the city of Grabford. And those are two forgotten cities in the Flannies to a large degree. I don't think that many people start thinking that those cities are actually there. They're decent sized, both of them, and they're interesting because they are frontier cities, meaning Greyhawk is in an area where things have, you have interesting things, but here you have Grabford is on the river with the Horn Society and the Empire of Ayuzi on the other side, meaning you can go out humanoid hunting any day you like, so to speak, and any morning you like. So it's kind of an interesting. It's a frontier, literally a frontier to Hell City, so to speak. That is kind of.
Well, they both get captured in from the.
Yeah, I was gonna
exactly.
say,
they do. They get captured and then they get recaptured again. Yes. So they have that's where they've been detailed to some degree, especially Crockport, because I think it even came with a map somewhere. That was so. I've seen some fan-made maps that are interesting.
I can't remember if it's Grabford or Crockport, but one of those places should be overrun with vampires.
That's Grabford.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was ran by
Mescaline.
Yeah, exactly. It was so you can even take a lot of stuff like that. So they come with character, and Crockport is also a gateway to the Vesvi, and so you have that next door too. So there's plenty of interesting adventuring possibilities, and you can have it as a home base for adventuring and stuff. So those are two cities I want to push for a little bit, because they're kind of and you have a big lake too, and so there's sea base too.
So you see Goalkeep on this map. We did the Goalkeep adventure in the fight when we were retaking Eas, and it states in the on the Eyes the Evil about Goalkeep, and there's a way to have it implode upon itself. I don't know if you ever saw that lore, and we had that happen with that, and had it destroyed. Yeah,
we never made it past redoubt. We had the redoute or whatever it's called. That fortress. We had a huge battle there during the war.
But that's you are correct on them being, kind of forgotten cities, but
they
depends on what era you're playing too.
Yeah, if you're playing during the war, they are kind of in the center of things.
Yeah, and this is notice. So if you say this is a 576 map that I had Anna edited the file Glades back in for me, so because it's in my game, but so there you go. Some neat stuff here. So you have any other forgotten locations?
We have to mention Stowink. It's not forgotten, but I think it's underrated because Stowink is one of these awesome locations. If you want a chaotic Wild West version of Greyhawk, Stowink is your go-to place. And if you read the Gord books, you will get a visit to Stowink. And it's kind of it seems to be the Wild West kind of, it's the frontier to the North Bandit Kingdom Wild West kind of place, so to speak. So it's kind of interesting. It's one just like Radagast guards the ordered south against the Bandit Kingdom. The Stoic is the other way around. It guards the Bandit Kingdom southern flank from incursions from the civilized south. And I guess it's also some sort of trading spot there too.
So you said it's kind of an old Wild West.
No, but it has that feel, so to speak. It's the frontier city.
I was going to say, what is there? An inn, a saloon.
Oh yeah, you can have lots of stuff like that. But yeah,
like one road down in the middle
but
of
skip the Merlin 6-shooters.
What technically is it? Bandit Kingdoms?
Yes, it's Bandit Kingdoms. Yep, okay. It's a free city. A free city-state in the Bandit Kingdoms.
And it stays free city during the Ayers Wars?
No, Ayers took kind of formal control, but not real control over it, so to speak. And but we have to ask exactly. But Ayers was trying to control it, and formally, I think they said that okay, put a figurehead there, and then they went on business as usual, kind of thing. So, so it was one of these that were hard to control.
No, so became a regional sub-capital according to Casey.
Yeah, it was
okay.
It was one of them, just like Rift Crag, and oh, there we have another very forgotten city, Rift Crag. But you're right, it's one of the sub capitals. So but I want to have it that Ayers didn't take that much control of Stoic. Formally, they probably paid some tribute to him and let him be there. Yeah.
So there we go for
that. So
one.
Rift Crag is one of these, I think, forgotten cities that is kind of interesting. Okay. Yeah, it has the most geographically interesting location in the Flannies on the verge of a huge rift, which is kind of cool. I have it in my campaign that is actually dug into the mountain, into the hillside. So it's not a city built on top. And they built it that way because they wanted to be in a very dangerous location where you have dragons and all sorts of stuff. So they literally dug the city into the wall of the in one of these kind of, it's a crevice in, so to speak, on the side. So you get some views and stuff. And it's one of these very defensible positions. And there you have on the southern side is the old Flan version, Veralos, the Flan Fortress along the Rift Canyon on the southern side.
Was that really a city, or was it just a?
It's a fortress. It's described as a fortress. I don't know how large the inhabitants, but it's a ruined old Flan Fortress, if I remember correctly. Veralos, I put it there. So yeah.
Cool.
So that's more forgotten or not talked about places. And then going up toward, actually Bandit Kingdom has a lot of cities that we don't talk about much. And Red Span and Kinnamid are two of these other cities that are not talked about much. If you follow the Arton Samay up. Yeah, and Red Span is just east of it.
Oh, there they are.
Okay. Yeah. So those are also two cities in Rockroost we hear a lot about, but Kinnamid and Red Span are two cities, and Red Span it's 10 or what's left of it, and Kinnamid is a city in the Bandit Kingdom. So yeah. So those are also kind of underrated in my opinion. Red Span will be interesting because it's the last city that was run and ruled by Flan. So that might make it interesting from that standpoint. Yeah.
Kinnamid is a cow town with lawful neutral knights. Okay.
Yes,
I'll
exactly.
Take your word for it.
It has your race is home to a special breed of mercenaries that are kind of cool. Yeah.
I know very little about the Bandit Kingdoms.
Yeah,
but that's
okay. I know half of what Casey knows. So yeah. And I also deviated a little bit from the Living Greyhawk story, a little bit, but.
And note, we're going to have a special Saturday morning stream, I think on July 10th, where Casey runs for the final time, that Bandit Kingdom's tourney.
Oh.
Live stream. Yep. With a good group of players. Yes, coming up, right? Is that the right date, Casey? July 10th, correct? All right, so let me scroll back down here, come back down to the middle of the Greyhawk.
And I have one more city that I kind of like not so much by itself, but as a part of a city theme kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's the Metropolis of Aldread on the Niron's southern coast of Relmore Bay. There is it's actually 3 cities there that are big: Aldred, Methat, and Ragby. And I like the names of them all. They're kind of really cool.
Oh, there they are. Okay, I got
yeah. So Ragby in the west there, Aldred in the middle, and Methat. Methat was part of Almore back in earlier, so to speak. So, and then after the Greyhawk Wars, it became part of Nyrond. And became the capital of the Almorian Protectorate that they set up afterwards. But Aldred is really cool because it ties into these the name that comes with a lot of great kingdoms. You have Rel Devon, and I think name-wise it's really cool. It ties into it, and it's a metropolis. It's a big port city. It's one of the huge ones, and Methat the same way. And Ragby is not that big, but it's still there. So.
Mike, do me. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
There,
yeah.
There was a question. Death Knight 2 or 3. Yeah, look. There you go. There is a book.
Yep.
Detailing it. So
there's no maps in it.
There's no maps in it, and it's just a synopsis of what happened during the Living Grail campaign. But it's written by. Yep. Yeah, show me $1 there, Casey, every time. So
yeah. So Aldred is Niron's one of Niron's 2 big port cities. Nessermouth is one, and is one of them, and Aldred is another one of Niron's big port cities. So
does most of Niron's population gravitate towards the south then?
I think so. Yeah, to some degree, yes. But it's fairly.
There are a lot of cities down there.
Yeah, south and west. It's kind of to me. It's like a lot of the population is along the Ernst border, meaning that you have cities from Hammensend, Trigol, but that's on the side. But you have
You're joking, right?
But you have two big cities in the middle too. So you have 3: Relmord, and then you have Hendren Hallgod, and then Mobren.
Right.
So and Woodwich is another big one. So Nyrond is full of big cities. So Nyrond is kind of center south, and Borneven, Wompton, it's all over. So yeah, you can't really say it's all over.
I think it's underdeveloped in the game.
Yeah. Exactly. You have I see them as the prairie of the one of the bread baskets of the Flannies. It's one of these prairies that is grassland that is both good for grazing and fertile enough to grow things. So that's why the population and also they've had no major wars in a long time. They've been involved in them, but they haven't been conquered and plundered and stuff like that for millennia.
Ernst and Nyrond.
Exactly. So they are one of the safe bastions of the world, so to speak. So if you want to be a farmer, I think the central Nyrond is probably, or Ernst is probably one of the best places to be. And so that's why you probably have big cities there. Population have grown over the years and centuries. And you have so Nyrond has surprising amount of cities, all the way from Mid-Meadow, and that's the other thing. The Gord books detail a whole bunch of them. Gord go from one to the other. Great. He is in Mid-Meadow. He is in I think in Womtham, or he's going up to Inspa. So he's going from Mid-Meadow down to Inspa across Nyrond. So yeah, it's only a few stopovers here and there, and then things happen. But it's a road movie across the Flannies, and so the Nyrond has a lot of underrated, undeveloped cities that tend to be towards the boring, because there's not that much evil going on, no big cults, no big wars or anything like that. But if you want to have a boring, safe place to start out your campaign, go for it. There's your place, I think. Or if you want to have some youth sitting in the port of Aldred and dreaming about adventure, going out in the world, and have to start with some pickpocketing career and battle it out with the Beggars Union or something, I think Aldred could fit your bill real perfect.
And Nairon was war ravaged. Correct? No, not
No,
really.
not really.
No.
It was involved in war, but the war was actually fought on Elmorian soil way more than on Nairon soil. So Nairon itself was not invaded or plundered that much. It's more like America is doing most of its wars on foreign soil, all of them basically. So in modern times, so Nairon was lucky enough to fight the wars on foreign soil, so to speak. Even when they fought the Great Kingdom for their succession from the Great Kingdom, even then they kind of ganged up with the other ones and avoided major wars. So and so they've been lucky and fought their wars on outside their borders. Yeah.
And this just goes to show the size of the Flanes.
Yes, von Malku. Oh, sorry.
No, it's a good thing. Just because you're showing in 41 years of gaming, I don't think I've ever been in Nairon, ever.
Yeah, haven't been there much either, but it's interesting to study it. But I think, von Moltke, you're right that they lost a lot of people and a lot of resources and stuff. Yes, but they also managed to rebuild quickly because their country wasn't ravaged physically, so to speak. So yeah.
Nairon's population is over 2 million people. 75,000 lost is a big number, but not the same.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you, Rich.
Yep.
Awesome.
And they probably didn't lose that many kids and old people and women and people who are not at the front fighting, so to speak. So that's the other benefit, I think, of not fighting.
Rich, try your Prime now. Remember, we're talking about that. See if it works before Patrick gives you something. I know you're saying it was going to expire. It looks like it just did. All right, so I think I went through all the maps.
Okay. Meaning I can go on for another 3 hours of talking about forgotten cities.
Yeah, it looks like it just did, Rich. You can hit the button and it should re-up it so that it's good. So there's a need for just if you're adventuring somewhere to make a new to make a map up. That would be
city
a lot of places. City development is needed. I don't know how much there is in Forgotten Realms. I don't know how much there is in Dragonlance on cities. There's probably not a lot. I know Waterdeep's done, but I don't know about all the other cities. I don't know how detailed it gets. We do have a lot of maps, but they're just
some of them are not good, and the fan maps tend to be better than the published maps.
Yeah.
And also I saw Chathold is another one of these kind of forgotten, that was the capital of Ulmore back in the day that got ruined in the war. Someone, I forgot the name, I'm sorry, did a wonderful 3D model of Chathold, and there are pictures in the Flanders Geographical Society Facebook group back in the day. I forgot who did it, but it's fantastic diorama or like city model of the city. Fantastic. Yep.
We did not get city maps in Illrid the Undying.
Exactly, we didn't.
Because it was not complete, right?
No, but it was complete except art. But we got a lot of cool city descriptions and tantalizing ideas and concept of various cities and one of my favorite stopovers is Rel Devon. It's one of these. It's half boring, half fun.
So Greyhawk, if you do that, there's some places you want to submit it. The Flanders Geographical Society that Anna has on Facebook is a great place, and the Cannon Fire Discord is another great place.
And Cannon Fire website.
And the Cannon Fire website. I'm linking both that and the virtual
Greyhawk Online.
Yep, and Greyhawk Online. So, where's that where's Bosslock's Royal Astra map? It's on Cannon Fire, correct, everyone?
Somewhere.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's been around, so you can probably Google it.
See a long shot.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Good night.
Yeah. So note that this is like almost like a prelude to. And we're not going to. It's not going to be Greyhawk specific on Friday, but there's going to be a lot of.
No, the Friday we will talk about techniques in mapping and how to make them, what to think of, and how to find your style in mapping, and how Alyssa and me got into this nerdy stupidity of nerding down into fantasy mapping. Yep.
So
forgotten cities or underrated cities in Flannies, there are plenty. Yeah, so I can talk about it for 5 more hours. So there's plenty of more to go by. But
I'm excited about it. And go ahead. I was gonna say, why don't we do some shout outs now, do a giveaway, and not run. I got 4 streams in 5 nights.
Yeah, exactly. We should not run over. Yeah, but this was, I think, a good kind of introductory teaser to look at the maps of the Flannies and go over it, and it will find 50 underrated forgotten cities that are ripe for development, and you can make into cool adventuring locations.
Absolutely. Mike, what is going on in your world? Anything exciting?
Well, I am running an occasional Greyhawk game. That last we played, we were in the city of Greyhawk. I couldn't find my Malden map, so I had to use the original box set map like a savage.
Okay.
But that map's always great because I don't even need the books to run from it these days. We're all pretty familiar with it. On the other end, we were in Lucas for a short while, and it completely slipped my mind that there was a map of Lucas in Fate of Vistas. So there you go. But other than that, I'm in Rich's game Tuesday, where we'll be going to one of those forgotten cities that Anna's talking about, these ruined cities from antiquity. That should be fun. No spoilers. I didn't look it up, I swear. Other than that, you get a lot of good ideas from this show. City mapping is something I can do, but my type of maps that I would do, like my Hokar city map of Hokar and whatnot, the kind of maps I'm going to do, I'm going to crank out in the night. No. They're not going to be works of art or anything.
No, but it's great because that's what we need. We need more of them. So, and then people can take that map and your city design and make something even better out of it.
I guess my last thing is, if anyone out there listening, I want a map of Monmurg and or Port Tully.
Oh yes,
that's my wish
forgotten
list.
Cities.
That's my wish list.
Yeah, underappreciated cities. Yeah.
Why Monmurg?
Because it's the capital of the Sea Princes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great city location too. It's
I've ran lots of stuff in those cities, but all narrative.
Isn't Port Tully like Tortuga was in in the Caribbean, kind of?
Might be, yeah. I'm not that familiar with.
I think it would be cool to have that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
They're kind of rival cities in my mind. Monmurg was built by Keelan. Port Tully was built by the pirates of the original settlers.
Yeah.
And eventually they took over the whole deal, and now Monmurg's the capital.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's cool. So some homework for people. Map of Port Royal and start with that. Maybe. That's all right. Jason, I think when you were doing that, it got linked by Assure up top. J Lerman. It's linked up top. It's linked. Scroll up a little bit. He linked it. There you go.
Freeport would work great as Monmurg. Yeah.
Yeah, Freeport would be cool too. I think Freeport is more neutral though, right? You think the Monmurg? I don't know. Freeport's cool. Freeport is cool, and it's a good discussion point that we had with.
I would want something dedicated because Monmurg is on the tip of this isthmus or whatever.
That's awesome.
The geography of it's very specific, and I don't know if Freeport.
Thank you, Rich.
It would fit.
That's true. Yeah, both Port Tully and Monmurg are out in these peninsulas sticking out, which makes good sense because it's much more defensible position versus inland attacks if you have ocean on 3 sides, so to speak.
Jason, you heard the Freeport writer meant it to be Monmurg. We heard when we had Pramus on, he said it was supposed to go in the Lordship of the Isles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Added. Yeah. Oh, that
It was
was
meant
the
for
idea.
Lordship of the Isles, is what Jason Chris
on
Pramus said.
the on Duchy of on the Ganodi or Ganode Island. Yeah, that was the I think that was the place. And I actually placed Mahan on there. I'm not sure if that's on the official map or not. I need to have the official map open and not my campaign map.
So Anna, what is going on in your world?
Wow, there's a lot of going on. We have a planning for the show Friday, the mapping show. So please come on and chat maps with us. And that's going on. And I'm also going to have the 13th session on my campaign Sunday. So and the campaign, we're still stuck in Aldred. So that's the most comprehensive village town design I've ever done. And it's kind of cool because I've actually developed every house. I mapped the area 50 miles away in every direction. And I'm developing 5 other towns, 6 villages, and a city going along with this campaign. So I'm developing them down to the building, so to speak. So I'm just starting to tackle the concept of crit wall. And I have some loose ideas when you take Bastion of Faith. I'm going to take input from that one, but I'm going to make a city design with those elements in it, so to speak. So
I just placed it outside, right outside, if you remember, Anna.
That's exactly, and that's what I will do too. But there will be geographical reasons for it, and it's also based. Originally, it was a Flan Hill fort because it's such a strategic location. So it was originally a Flan Hill fort. Speaking of how things develop, it was originally a Flan Hill fort, then became a fledgling outpost of the Great Kingdom, and then grew into a more fortified stronghold towards the north of the Great Kingdom. And then as the Great Kingdom fell apart, it became a part of an eastern staging point of the Kingdom of Ferrond. And then after that, it became the big stronghold of the Order of the Shield. And then it became nearly or almost invaded by Ayus, and then liberated and now rebuilt and built stronger as a stronghold, and now a bastion for going forward by the Order of the Shield, so to speak. So that is some of the big undertaking that I'm doing map-wise. And also there is Gryffindor Games is going to get a new Kickstarter out the gate today or tomorrow.
Oh, that was your secret, huh?
Yes, that's one of the ones that is coming
cool.
with my maps and stuff in it. So it's going to be a kind of a cool outer planner. My first map that has some planner connotations and stuff to it.
Nice.
We only done a few little concepts of it, so it's under development, so to speak. So that's going on too. So I will start plastering some links and stuff to it. And I'm also going to play in Nagoya Joe's campaign. No, not Thursday. This is another game tomorrow instead of that one. Oh, that looks cool. Yeah. So that is coming. And I also got so much interest when we discussed with Jeff Grubb, when we discussed Hell and the map and his sketches from Manual the Plane. So I started sketching some stuff of that for future projects. I just got carried away a little bit. So I'm not going to show that yet, but I'm going to refine it and come up with cooler ideas and built on Jeff Grubb's design, because I really love his design. And I want to take his engineering samples and turn them into inspiring fantasy maps, so to speak. So that's one coming. And we have then we have now I lost it. Yeah, I've also updated the Worth planet one more go, so to speak. So yeah, and so now I'm actually starting to think that one is starting to get close to where it needs to be, so to speak. So I actually tweaked with the Great Southern Continent, Anakeris, or whatever you call it, and tried to tweak because I didn't like that one, but it actually turned out worse. So I'm not going to touch it and say that we're going to leave it there. And I'm starting to think that model will work, so to speak. So that will be the base going forward with GIS. and now I have the base. So now I will start the GIS project. I will kind of soft start it so I can work in on doing some research that way. So next year we'll start pushing it. And I've also work on Lendor. Like you see, right now I don't have that many other commissions, so I'm basically going almost full time on Greyhawk mapping. So I'm working on the Lendor, but the new big scale technique, so to speak. So I'm working on that plus, and that will be Isle of Dread will be mapped the same way, and the expansion of it. And I'm also starting to think that the next atlas will use 11 by 17 single pages prints. That will probably be the format. So I'm going to do a test of that and then send out to my patrons and stuff so I can get proper feedback so they can see if it's the right model to go forward or not. So yeah, that's the gist of what I'm up to at the moment. So it's a lot of things. Yeah.
Lots going on. So
yeah.
Let me burn through these. Tomorrow night is Big Adventure 914. We're starting a half hour late. That time is wrong. I didn't update it. It is, and that is no wonder because that's the wrong one. But we are on. It's still wrong. 8 o'clock. We're starting a half hour late because I only have Walt and Alan like last week. Everyone else is away on vacation. But 8 o'clock p.m. 3 major giveaways, big ones, which include the Mike Disney Overgored print.
Yes.
One of those right here, a painted Scarn, okay, which many, and then the Gamescape 3D, the STL for this. Now that thing is it's like 2.5 feet. It's huge.
Wow.
So yeah, and that is a $60 STL if you were to buy it now. So that is a huge giveaway for tomorrow night, and we will finish up the attack on the Norwell Headhunters headquarters as the plot was uncovered. And if you watch Saturday night, I threw an anti-paladin up against them, right? Kind of, which was a lot of fun. It was another daughter of Mistrine, which I always throw out. And Anna's character, Marie, was the only one that did not eat the muffins and drink the steep tea for the 3-stage poison, and didn't have to make a save versus death at -4. So yeah, thank you. That was a blast. Yeah, I had 27 anti-hero points at one point, which was crazy. It was nuts, but it was such a fun time. Thank you so very much. But that ties in. The plot is uncovered, but that is going on at the same time that tomorrow night's going on. So
and she leveled up. Imri leveled up.
Yeah, she's 7th Ranger, 7-8 now, so she did range up.
So she's a bit tougher now.
It was a 3-stage poison, and yes, I used it, and I did kill one character, but I didn't permanently. It was I was NPCing Sierra. All right, so that's Thursday. Friday, and I've linked this multiple times. The first inaugural show of the Fantasy Mapping Show.
Yep.
All right. I have a whole new background, whole new screen capabilities, and it's going to be this one's going to be Alyssa and Anna, how they started, and we'll go and show you the beginnings to where they are now. A Q&A session that you can ask anything.
Yeah, and come ideas what you want us to cover in future shows. That's the key, so to speak. So what do you want to see? And also a bit of warning, it's not going to be a show where we show for 45 minutes how to do things in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's not
that's something if there are concrete examples, that's much better if Alyssa or me do something separate, a YouTube video or a Twitch show, just diving deep into that for people to see. So this is where we discuss things, show samples, have guests, and kind of talk which tool to use and the overviews and highlights and stuff. So
all that stuff. We're gonna have a lot of cool things.
Yep.
And this show will be a feel out show for future shows. So please note we may do some things that are a little.
Oh yeah, off. It's we get our feelers for this too. So yeah.
But it's from 8 to 10 on Sunday night. And it'll be the first one a month we'll do, and then we're looking forward to it. And I think we'll have a little bit of a different audience too. It won't be Greyhawk specific; it'll be map making specific. So that'll be a neat one. So very cool, Biggie Paul. Thank you for that compliment.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
All right. So then Sunday night, it's Gavin. Will be a fun show. tie in with what happened on last Saturday. Holy and unholy warriors.
Very interesting
Okay,
topic. Yep.
so we're going to discuss classes and maybe some specific characters, but we're going to talk about the Paladin and its subclasses. I have the Undead Hunter and Inquisitor, the Anti-Paladin, which that picture's good, from. The Eric Boyd class that I use in my campaign, the Crusader, which a lot of people don't know about, which is a great class, and my Knight classes. Plus, we'll throw in some other, campaign tidbits. Anna has some stuff, too, from her campaign, and Tim has some stuff he wants to discuss with you all. So, yes, it'll be a neat... Garn is a non-holy warrior. Garn's no. I always have to say no to Casey just because it doesn't matter what Casey says. I have to say no. Like when Casey said Saturday night he was considering changing alignment so he could use one of the weapons, the great weapons I gave out. No, you're not doing that. You're a priest of Kellan. Kellan will slay you if you change your alignment. So, yes, TN needs some love. So that'll be another cool show. I'm looking forward to that as well, and then that'll finish us through the week. So, only 4 streams this week. The Heels were great. It was a great game. It was an awesome game on Saturday. Yes, when Tim comes to the plate, Jason, you wanna tune in for that. All right, so a party view character session is fun. It is. I've done it once or twice, Rich, and it's just not my thing running evil characters. It just gets too out of hand. It does. The neutral area is fine. Evil characters is really tough. I don't want to go there in a live stream either and have a disaster occur.
That's probably even worse of a disaster than having more regular campaigns. Yeah.
So, all right, let's do the giveaway.
Yep.
Sound good? And then we'll call it a night. We're going to raid into Praetors tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Obsidian Risk.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful, wonderful discussion.
Thank you, everyone,
Here we
for
go.
being in chat. Yep.
All right. Closing it out. This is for this. Okay. Reprint. And the winner is 2000 Caesar.
Ooh.
Awesome. Congrats. 2000 Caesar is usually on to claim. He's on now. I see him in chat. So congrats, 2000 Caesar. Remember, 3 huge giveaways tomorrow night. A painted Mike Disney Skarn, a Mike Disney Overgord, and a $60 STL Gamescape 3D print. So there you go, 2000. I think I have your address, but just, I'm almost positive I do. But once again, you can always link it in chat for me one more time. It's probably in my database already. Yeah. So let's call it a night there. Thank you, everyone, for a wonderful show. And look at that, dead on and 10. When do we ever finish dead on and 10
exactly. We're dead on, so perfect.
Yeah, it's just good because I got another long day ahead of me beforehand. And so let's raid into Praetors Rejects. Mike, thank you very much for coming on and hanging with us and participating in a great discussion. Anna, as always, we'll see you all tomorrow night for a very cool finish to, I'm hoping, it's going to be a mini, this is going to sound stupid, mini mass scale combat.
Okay.
So there's going to be fights all around that headquarters working out, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll just have fun with it. So we'll see you tomorrow night, and let me hit a right button. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Hit the right button, Jay.
Yes. Oh, you haven't hit the wrong button yet.
Yeah. Thanks for that link, Calstan. All right, let me go to this. Let's raid the Praetors. Thank you. 67. That's awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night, everyone. 8 o'clock. Should be good.